Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. It looks like I have a few new regular viewers, and one of my viewers was wondering where my song comes from, and so I'm sure others are wondering too. So I thought I would talk about it again. I've talked about this in other videos before. I inherited my jingle from the Peter Schiff show. Peter Schiff actually doesn't use it anymore. He discontinued it about a year ago. I don't know if it's because of me or just because he has a new opening theme. I've been watching the Peter Schiff show since around the time of the Great Financial Crisis. And when I first heard it, I thought it was funny. It sounded a lot like he was saying the Peter Shit Show. And his name is spelled Schiff, in case you're curious. I had gone home to my family during Thanksgiving one year and turned on an episode of the Peter Schiff Show. And when the opening theme came on, I sang along with him. And I said, the Peter Shit Show. And I waved my middle finger at the same time. And my dad was so upset. He said, it's Thanksgiving. We don't need to be hearing about any sort of shit show. And he agreed. He thought it was the Peter Shit Show as well when he first heard it. Now, I watch it so much. Every time something big happens, like a financial crisis or some kind of major political event, a school shooting, natural disaster of some sort, I would turn on the Peter Schiff show to hear his opinion on it. And it was always comforting because you got to understand every time I'm interested in the Peter Schiff show, it's because something big is going on, right? An uncertain election season, right? The Parkland school shooting. I think he talked about it a little bit, or always a solemn event that makes you want to turn on the Peter Schiff show. So his show always gave me a nice, comforting feeling. Well, come March 2020, all of my favorite places were closed. You got to understand how I was living at the time. I was living in Seattle, Washington, a very high expense city, and I would often live in my car when the weather would permit. So a typical year, I might only look for housing 3, 4, 5 months out of the year. The rest of the time, I would live in my car. The other reason I would live in my car is that I get to network with so many people, right? Yeah, I talk about how people harass me when they don't want me parking in the spot. The truth is that I also get a lot of opportunities to network, right? Not everybody who wants me to leave, in fact, it's the minority of people who want me to leave the parking spot that actually harasses me. Most people are actually quite nice. Of course, the people who harass me are the most memorable experiences, right? I had been closed out of every place that I used to hang out at. I was so depressed out of my mind. I didn't know what to do next. And I turned on the Peter Schiff show, and he sang "Bum Bum Bum Bum." Oh, it just gave me a nice, familiar feeling that at least something was going right because everything else was going wrong. The other thing that I distinctly remember was on March 19th, 2020. There was a conjunction of Mars and Jupiter. I looked up in the sky. Sure enough, Mars and Jupiter are right there. They're not social distancing from each other. And that was just such a nice feeling that at least something was going right. Right? There's just some things that will never change, right? Like the sky doesn't care what's happening here on Earth, right? And so Peter Schiff doesn't care about what's going on. He'll still sing "Bum Bum Bum" or whatever his new opening theme is right now. That gave me a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling that amid all of this chaos, you can still hear "Bum Bum Bum Bum." And then he talked his opinion about it and gave me some guidance on how to invest next, and it paid off. So that was good. 2 years later, war had broken out in Ukraine. And that experience of seeing the war in Ukraine hit me really hard for a very funny reason, actually. You remember when the war first broke out, Ukrainians were fleeing to Poland, and at the train station in downtown Warsaw, a bunch of Polish families had left baby strollers for Ukrainians who had left in a big hurry. And when I saw that, it gave me a really solemn feeling because 5 years before that, I was dating a Polish girl, and we broke up because she wanted children. I didn't want children, and so seeing the baby strollers at the train station in Warsaw was a reminder of all the children I didn't have. And then war had broken out, and I had a good time when I was traveling in Poland too. And now one of my favorite vacation haunts has become that. It just gave me a really solemn feeling. I turned on the Peter Schiff show. Bum 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 bum. It just washed all of that away instantly, and it just washed it all away. Now, the war in Ukraine. I'm very superstitious, and it was bad luck for another reason. After the situation with the train station, one of my favorite things to do when I travel is to bring home a rock from wherever I travel. I call it going on a sample return mission. You guys saw I picked up some rocks at the beach in Taiwan. I had picked up a rock in Gdansk Bay 5 years before the war had broken out, and I took it to work. I have a few colleagues who are from the Eastern European area, and they were affected by the war too. So I took the rock to work and I put it in our fish aquarium. I gave the rock a little bit of a nickname. I called it Polonium because it came from Poland, and I placed it in the fish aquarium. And I was working at a tutoring center, and all the kids there were fascinated by the fact that by a rock from Poland after they had all seen on the news. Well, the following week, two fish from the aquarium died, and my coworker, who was from, I think he was from Romania, he joked that maybe the rock contained actual polonium, and so it was just added to the bad vibe of the war going on. Now, I like that theme so much because it's comforting. It gives me something to cling on to when all hope is lost, and when I'm having a bad day in my own personal life, I sing the Peter Dislike Show to give me something familiar to hold on to as the situation blows over. Right when I sing "Bum Bum Bum Bum," it just give me something nice to hang on to. Usually, the situation, the bad day I'm having, isn't nearly as bad as I think it is. I just need something to cling on to, and so the Peter Dislike Show has kind of become like that. You can think of it as almost, you know how some people hold on to a stuffed animal. It's kind of like an audio stuffed animal, if you will, right? Instead of being physical, right? It's just audio, right? Let's sing along, gesture at your screen, and pray for me by hitting the dislike button. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum